What's up there guys, this is Cobb and welcome to a Q&A video. We're going to be answering your questions based around the Legion expansion. This one is basically to iron some things out that I maybe missed out in my last video on Legion, so I'm going to try and keep it short, but we will see how that plays out. Anyways, our first question comes in from METALLICUS, and he asks, what class color do you think Demon Hunters will have? Thought about this one quite a bit myself, and I think it will have to be green. Even though Hunters and Monks kind of overlap already, Hunters have a kind of faded or limey green, while Monks are a little bit closer to turquoise. I think Demon Hunters will be a kind of toxic green, similar to a Warlock's green fire. The only other alternatives are a different kind of purple to Warlocks, or maybe some kind of dark grey. But if I had to bet, I'd probably still go with green. I can see the riots in the comments already. Next question comes in from CODEY WEBB, and he says, hey Cobb, would you want Blizzard to make Destro looks more mobile or more bursty? Do you prefer Wrath of the Lich King Destro or Mr. Pandaria Destro? Enough of this heal bot bullshit. Bullshit indeed. To answer the first question, I would rather see Destro get more mobility. We need things like cast while moving effects and the instant casts. Things like Fell Flame if we're going to become competitive in PvP again. When it comes to burst damage, I'd say that we have enough already. For me, the problem is that we have nothing outside of our burst damage. We're at the point where if we don't get off our Chaos Balls, we basically do nothing but jump around and heal. Having more mobility through instant cast spells would actually give us something to do in between the burst attempts. And Wrath Destro or Mr. Pandaria Destro, I would have to pick Wrath every time. In Lich King, Destruction Warlocks didn't have a whole lot of survivability, but what we did have was a lot of CC, more instant spells, and a ton of really scary burst damage. For me, Wrath was the last expansion in which I actually felt like a Destruction Warlock. Wow Keelan quotes me in the previous Legion video saying, in reference to gearing up in PvP, something along the lines of, I'm sure they won't force us to PvE. How can we assume that? With everything Blizz has done lately, I think it's very safe to assume they will force PvE on people. I can't imagine that you really think that they're going to remove PvP gear from the game and give PvPers no way at all to gear up other than, through raiding. Blizzard know that they would just end up alienating hundreds of thousands of players by doing that, or at least I know that I would quit for sure if they did that. But just to put this out there, it has been confirmed that you'll be able to obtain gear through PvP. It just won't be PvP gear as we know it today. The real question is, will we be able to upgrade our artifact weapons using relics if we only PvP? I'm sure that they will think of this when they come to it, but as far as I know, they've listed quest chains, dungeons and raids as possible ways to obtain relics to empower your artifact weapon. You can level your artifact weapon in PvP, but as for the relics, I don't think we know yet how us PvPs are actually going to be getting ours. Imad Abdallah asks, hey Cobb, what new talents should Warlocks get in Legion? I can only speak for Destruction here, and to name a few right off the bat, Fell Flame, Shadow Flame, and Backlash. These are three spells that I would love to see on the PvP talent tree, especially Shadow Flame and Backlash. I miss Fell Flame with all of my heart, but Shadow Flame and Backlash, they just had so much more flavour to them as spells that I would rather see them make a return. I would also really like to see something done with Burning Embers in the PvP talent tree. I think it would be awesome to have an entire tier dedicated to Chaos Bolt, giving you 3 ways you can kind of modify the spell. Just from the top of my head, you could choose between making it an instant cast, but reducing its damage by 30% and giving it a 5-second cooldown. Option number 2 could be remove its 100% crit chance component, give it a cooldown, but reduce its cast time to 1.5 seconds, and other stuff like that. It would also be sweet to see them make PvP talents that buff the old talents to make them viable in PvP. Maybe Cataclysm could become instant cast now, with Demonic Servitude demons automatically, respawn after 20 seconds of being dead. That kind of stuff. Honestly, I could go on about this forever though. Really looking forward to seeing the PvP talents, but I am more hopeful than hyped. Even if only one of my ideas, like Shadow Flame or whatever, make it into the tree, then I will be happy. SEVENESTV asks only, concerns for world PvP in Legion. Gotta admit, I'm a little bit worried about PvP talents maybe not working in world PvP, and PvE gear from raiding might not be scaled down to a fair item level in world PvP like it is in arenas, but I'm not hugely concerned at this time. I would imagine that PvP talents will activate in the same way that our PvP gear currently activates in WoD when we enter PvP. I'm by no means sure that it's going to work like this, but it would be pretty stupid if it didn't. As for being outgeared by PvE players though, will Blizzard scale down their item levels when they enter world PvP? Who knows, but they are just PvEers. I'm sure they'll be too busy trying to remember their trinket keybinds and stuff to actually pose a threat. That was a joke. don't kill me. Philip Madsen says, they said there wasn't going to be any PvP gear, right? Well, what are we going to be wearing then? Questing greens, or will gear just be disabled in PvP and you will have your artifacts and some cosmetic gear? That's actually an awesome thought in my opinion. I really like the idea of everyone having the same base stats in PvP. You can still customize your character through enchantments and all that, but everyone should be on a level playing field. It'll be interesting to see if they bring in cosmetic PvP gear, especially if they, introduce it with rating requirements on each piece. I really like the idea of that. But getting back to the point, I would imagine that item levels will be capped in PvP, so that once you have your basic gear equipped, you don't have some crazy PvE hero queuing arenas, randomly two-shot you with his insane mythic DPS trinket. And that's about going to wrap up this Q&A. 5 minutes, going on 6 minutes. Not bad, I'm quite proud of myself. Hopefully at this point you guys have my thoughts and ideas on most things Legion related. Of course, it is only a matter of time before we get more news on the new expansion, so the videos will come in as that happens. But for now, I want to thank all of you guys for watching. I will try and answer any questions in the comments that any of you might still have, and if I can't get around to it, I hope you will help each other out where you can. So until the next video, have an awesome day everybody, and I'm going to catch all of you guys just a tad bit later.